Hello everyone, so Kim here with Native Lady Book Warrior, and today I am filming from my closet for one, and then also I will be doing a book haul. So I'm actually going to be doing multiple book hauls at the moment because I'm separating them. So this book haul is specifically going to be comprised of books that have been gifted to me by other booktubers, my husband, and a subscriber. So I'm really excited to show you all what I got. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so my cat, she's in here with me. So if you see a tail like whipping around, I'm sorry about that. All right, so the first book I am going to be showing you all, a book that has been gifted to me, and this book has been actually gifted to me by a subscriber of mine. So thank you very much. The subscriber, their name is Tangeline, and Tangeline, I am so happy because they have been a subscriber for a while. I enjoy seeing their comments on my booktube videos, and it's been pretty awesome. I'm gonna read the note that she sent me, and it says, "Hi Kim, I just wanted to say thank you as a book reader only can, and that is with a book. Hopefully you will enjoy this book by an Aboriginal author," from Tangeline. The book that I was gifted is The Yield by Tara June Winch. I am so excited I got this book because I remember I did a tag video. I think it was the Indigathon tag, and I remember stating in that video that I wanted this book, and I'm so excited. So this book is about a character, and the character's name is August. August is coming home, unfortunately, to attend the memorial of her grandfather. So there's a lot of history with August, and unfortunately a lot of that history and August's experience haven't been all that positive, but her grandparents are so important to her. And so August goes home, and August finds out that the land that her grandparents have lived on for decades, which is called Prosperous House, it is going to be repossessed by a mining company. So during that time, August is actually looking for this book that her grandfather was writing in, and August believes that this book could possibly be the key to ensuring that this land isn't taken away by this mining company. So one of the reasons why I really wanted to read this book was, well, first of all, I wanted to read this one and Too Much Lip. And I felt like they both had common themes, especially when talking about land and indigenous land, and in this case, Aboriginal lands in Australia. And well, actually all of Australia is Aboriginal lands. It's Aboriginal stolen lands. But I really wanted to read this book because of the theme of one coming home, and then the other one with focusing on land and connection to land, and also language. So I was flipping through this book. There is a Wiradjuri vocabulary in back of the book, and there is so much back here. So I don't want to go through it, all of it, but this book is also pretty darn beautiful. And the author, Tara June Winch, is an Aboriginal author, is Australian author from Wiradjuri, and this is, I believe, her third or second novel. So I am very excited to read this. I've read also a few of the notes by those who have reviewed this book, and it sounds pretty incredible. So another thing about this book that I read is that it won the 2020 Miles Literary Award. So I can't wait to get into this book. So thank you so much, Tangeline. All right, so the next two books that have been gifted to me were actually sent to me by a fellow booktuber, and that booktuber is Shawn the Book Maniac. I really enjoy Shawn's booktube videos, especially the ones that he does. It's called In Other Words, and those videos he really deep dives into vocabulary or phrases and looks into the backgrounds of those words and the root words of what that phrase probably originated from. So I really enjoy that video. So I was like, hey, but anyway, he asked me if I wanted a couple of Indigenous reads, and he sent them to me. So I was so surprised one day to get a package in the mail that was from Japan. I was like, who's sending me stuff from Japan? But the first book that Shawn sent me was Indian Coping Mechanisms by Billy Ray Belcourt. As you know, if you have been following me for a while, I also book hauled another book by Billy Ray Belcourt, which is The History of My Brief Bod. But this book is a book filled with short works, poetry. I'm so happy that Shawn sent this to me, because I was thinking about checking this out or possibly buying this for myself. And this is actually a winner of the Griffin Poetry Prize. It says it right here on the front. So Billy Ray Belcourt is an Indigenous author, and he is from the Driftpile Cree Nation. It says in Indian Coping Mechanisms, Notes from the Field, the poet takes on the political demands of queerness, mainstream portrayals of Indigenous life, love, and its discontent, and the limits and uses of poetry as a vehicle for Indigenous liberation. So yes, incredible. Sounds like an incredible read. So Shawn, thank you so much for this. The next book that Shawn sent me is Michelle Good's 5 Little Indians. I've been wanting to get my hands on this book for a while, ever since I read the synopsis of Richard Wagamese's Indian Horse. And this book is about 5 Indigenous teens who have survived residential boarding school, and then all of a sudden they are just basically thrown into the world with no resources, no kind of support whatsoever, into downtown, I think it said Eastside, Canada. So this follows those 5 boarding school survivors, and it also, I believe, talks about how they remembered, or how those experiences in boarding school affected them, and how they still continue to affect them. So I don't really want to go into any more than that, except that I heard that this book is a very powerful read. I heard it's pretty heartbreaking. Also, I think this book talks about their friendship and the traumas that they have experienced and that they have endured and that they are still experiencing. I'm eager to read this. I don't know when I'm going to read it, but I was going to say I wanted to read it in April, but I have a couple reads that have been waiting on me. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to get to this in May, because I've been hearing so much about this book. So thank you so much, Shawn. I appreciate these books. These are pretty awesome. So thank you. All right. So the next 4 books, I am so happy to have these books, because especially I believe several of these books have been stated. I think Dani from Thunderbird Woman Read stated that these books were pretty incredible. I believe she's read, for sure, I know she's read 2 of them. Yeah, and I got these books from none other than Sage Reed. So thank you so much, Sage. You are amazing, as always. Wow, what can I say about Sage? Well, first of all, I think Sage's vlogs are goals, right? For booktube, their booktube vlogs are just pretty amazing. I hope one day I'm able to be on the same caliber as Sage when it comes to their booktube vlogs. Sage sent me 4 books. First book that Sage sent me is This Accident of Being Lost by Leanne Patasamosake Simpson. Leanne is Nishnabeg, and this book is comprised of short stories and songs. I looked into the beginning of the book, and its content is divided into 3 parts. And the first part is rebellion on her way. The second, a witness in unkept promised land. And the third, stealing back Red Body. So I'm pretty eager to get into this book. I'm hoping to start this book sometime in May. So I have it on my list to definitely read this book sometime in May. The second book that Sage sent me is Birdie by Tracy Lindbergh. And I believe Sage can totally read my mind, because I was actually planning on buying this. So when this ended up in my mail and I pulled this out, I was like, oh my gosh. So Birdie is authored by Tracy Lindbergh, and Tracy Lindbergh is a citizen of the Assiniboine Nation. I am coming into some pretty amazing Indigenous reads, and I am so lucky. And can we appreciate this really awesome artwork in the front? Pretty awesome. One of the content warnings that this book has is sexual abuse. That was a detail that was shared with me by a fellow reader when I stated that I wanted to read this book, and it was because Dani from from Thunderbird Woman Reads stated that this book was pretty amazing. This book follows a character named Bernice, or Birdie, and Bernice is finding her way in the world, and she travels to a city in Canada. I can't remember what the city was called, but it was in British Columbia, and Birdie wants to meet this actor from one of her favorite shows, I believe. But I know one of the things that I've heard about this book is language being a really important factor and almost like steering the narrative, I think. But that is just what I heard. I'm not so sure. I'm also not going to read The Leaf. I want to go into this book anew. Yes, this is the second book that Sage sent me. The next book that was gifted to me from Sage is Split Tooth by Tanya Tagaq. And Tanya Tagaq is a Canadian Inuit throat singer. And I heard the audio of this book is pretty incredible. By reading some of the reviews that I have seen out there, and also the interviews that she has done, I know that this book kind of jumps back and forth, but very fluidly, between poetry and short stories, and also it's part memoir and fiction and all these really incredible things. So I also heard that this book contains like storytelling from Tanya's Indigenous community. So I actually read one poem in here, like at the very beginning, and it just really sucked me in. She puts in here at the very beginning of the book, for the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and survivors of residential boarding schools. So I feel like this is going to be a very beautiful read. For me, it's very interesting when an author is able to fuse something so hurtful using language that is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Sage. I've been hearing very great things about this book, excellent things about this book, and I can't wait to read it. I'll definitely shoot you a message, Sage, when I wrap this book up. So this is the third book. All right, so the last and final book is a pretty short book, but it looks pretty incredible as well, and it is Disintegrate and Dissociate by Ariel Tourist. So the description in the back, it says, in her powerful debut collection, Ariel Twist, my bad, unravels the complexities of human relationships after death and metamorphosis. In these spare yet beautiful poems, she explores both rage and tenderness, the parameters of grief, trauma, displacement, identity, weaving together a past made murky by uncertainty and a present that exists in multitudes. Twist poetically navigates through what it means to be an Indigenous trans woman, discovering the possibilities of a hopeful future and a transcendent, beautiful path to regaining softness. I believe Ariel, I don't know where Ariel is from. Oh, here we go. It says Ariel Twist is from the George Gordon First Nation in Saskatchewan in Nova Scotia. Awesome. But I'm really excited to read this. So thank you so much, Sage. So Sage, yep, got me 4 books. And she also sent me an awesome little note. And it says, Kim, I hope you enjoy these amazing stories. This accident of being and split tooth especially blew me away. Sage. So thank you so much, Sage. Kunaa is Escoli. Thank you so much for these reads. Okay, moving on. Okay, so this next book was also gifted to me, but in a very incredible way. And I actually won this book through a giveaway. So the giveaway was hosted by Mallory. Mallory is Anishinaabe, and she is an Indigenous bookstagrammer. And she hosted a giveaway in partnership with Counterpress, which is the publisher of this next book. So the book that I won is The Beadworker Stories by Beth Piatote. I am so excited. So, okay, first, let me tell you more about Mallory. Mallory is an incredible Indigenous bookstagrammer. I'll link her information down below, but I suggest you follow her. But Mallory is also the creator of the Native Lit Challenge 2021. She also did a challenge in 2020, but here is a graphic that Mallory made, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's a very easy challenge that she created, encouraging readers to read Indigenous lit. And I suggest y'all check it out and even participate, and then go follow Mallory as well. So this book, I'm really excited because the back says, a woman teaches her niece to make a pair of beaded earrings while ruminating on a fractured relationship. An 11-year-old girl narrates the unfolding of the fish wars in the 1960s as her family is propelled to its front lines. A Nez Perce Cayuse family is torn apart as they debate the fate of ancestral lands in the moving revision of the Greek tragedy Antigone, told with humor, subtlety, and spareness. Beth, she is Nez Perce and is a citizen of the Colville Confederated tribe. Pretty awesome. I mean, as you can see, the front of this book, it's not a picture, it is an artwork. It's a beaded artwork, and it's pretty incredible. So it's so beautiful. And there's a couple of beaders I follow also on my Instagram account, but there are so many Indigenous, amazing, talented bead artists out there. And it's really awesome because a lot of their work really tells stories, or it has like a significant meaning behind the artwork. So thank you so much, Mallory. I can't wait to read this book. The next book that I got is also kind of gifted to me, but I actually won it. Well, I won the gift card in a giveaway, and the giveaway was hosted by Jess Owens. Crazy, right? I can't believe I won a giveaway by Jess Owens. Like, Jess Owens, people, like, wow. I love Jess Owens' channel. It's pretty incredible. But with that book card, with that book gift, or that book gift card, I purchased from my local indie bookstore, Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women That a Movement Forgot by Mickey Kendall. And I really wanted to get this ever since I saw Loc'd Booktition. She read and reviewed this book, and ever since then I've wanted it. I can't wait to read this. I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna take Bree's suggestion, and she recommended to read this alongside with Abram X. Kendi's How to Be an Anti-Racist. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I really want to read this book pretty soon. So now that I have this book, and also How to Be an Anti-Racist, I want to follow Bree's suggestion and read these two books together. I feel like they'll complement each other pretty well. Thank you so much, Jess. This is, yay, I'm so happy to have this book, and I can't wait to read it. All right, so the next two books were actually gifted to me by my husband. Both of these books are by Indigenous authors. So the first book that my husband got is Empire of Wild by Cherie Dimeline. And I have been wanting this book since last year, and now I finally have it. So I am so excited. And I read the inside of the leaf before, but I'm kind of fuzzy on it now, and I really don't want to read it. I want to go into this read completely brand new and not really know a lot of what is happening. Cherie Dimeline is also the author of The Marrow Thieves, which I've read, reviewed, and discussed. But Cherie is Métis, I believe. Is she Métis? Yes. She's raised in the Georgian Bay Métis community. The next book is none other than Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. And I want to show you something. I'm pretty sure you all have seen pictures of the inside of this beautiful book. So one of the things that I was talking about when the last time I mentioned this book was I had an arc of this book, and the inside of that arc, it doesn't have any kind of map in there. And oh, I appreciate a book with a pretty good map. One of the things that I really like about books too that have a lot of characters and that are set in different places is when they have little cool things like this, where they talk about who's like the list of characters in the book, where they're from. I feel like it really adds to the world building of the book. And like I said before, I don't really want to know too much of what this book is about. I've just heard it's pretty incredible, and I'm sure so many other Indigenous book reviewers have reviewed this book already, but I'm steering clear of it. I really don't want to know. I want to be surprised. And I can tell you guys right now, I'm going to be reading this book in April, so I'm really excited. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to is the world building and also character development. I haven't heard too much on the plot when it comes to this book, but I don't know if anybody knew if you've been to my channel before. I really like character driven stories. I like a lot of world building especially, but I don't really get too caught up on plot. I mean, I enjoy a good plot. Don't get me wrong, I love a good plot twist, but I just really love authors create amazing characters and incredible world building. So that is actually the last book that has been gifted to me. So these book gifts cover all the way from January to end of February. Yeah, so those are the books that I have received as gifts. Okay, so this is the beautiful stack of books that I am showing y'all that I have been gifted from January till late February. So in pretty incredible stack of books. I wanted to show you all these books during a usual book haul, but I feel like I wanted to give these people just a huge thank you, and I wanted to give these books their own videos. Yeah, so I'm really excited to read these books, and thank you everyone for these reads. I am so blessed to have friends like you all, and I am so very thankful, and I'm thankful for you supporting me. I mean, this is a whole stack of books. I mean, other than for my husband, but this is a whole really awesome stack of books that I don't have to purchase and that I don't have to wait on in terms of getting them from the library. So some of these reads I actually looked up, and they don't even have them at the library yet, or some of the libraries that I have on my Libby. So yeah, I don't know I don't know what else to say other than naa. Escoli, thank you so much everyone, and thank you Sage, thank you Jess, thank you Shane, thank you Mallory, and thank you so much for these reads, and thank you Tangeline. I appreciate you guys so much, and I don't know I don't know what to say. I think I'm just right now I just feel so humble, and yeah, and so that's my my video for books that have been gifted to me by other booktubers, other subscribers, or my subscribers, and also bookstagrammers. So thank you so much, you guys, and I guess I'll see you next time, and thank you so much for these reads. I appreciate you. All right, bye. I'll see you guys soon.